Okay, good morning again, Chair, board members, Madam CEO, staff, and members of the public. I'll just remind everyone again to please keep your cell phone silent and any other electronic devices for the entire meeting. If you are presenting an item or a speaking board member, please speak directly and loudly into the microphone, also ensuring that the light on the microphone is green when speaking. I'm noting for the record that Vice Chair Gonzalez and Member Belenfanti are absent today. Chair, there are two members of the public wishing to provide comment. The first is Henry Wright, followed by Loretta Humphrey, and both are commenting on item 1. And item 1 is a resolution to ratify the entering into an agreement with Motorola for the provision, maintenance, and support of the authority's Tier 1 and Tier 2 radio systems. Ms. Wright?
Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year.
I thank you for just opening the doors for me to come in and express myself one more time. My name is Ms. Sanders, and I'm here today in behalf of my house. I was here last month, and I want to express myself again. I've been in this house for like 45 years. In this house, I lost my oldest son. You might not want to hear it, but I have to tell you just how I feel. I lost my oldest son in this house because the house had no boiler. He caught pneumonia. And I really would appreciate it if you would just bear with me until I be able to get this house, because I feel like I'm entitled to it because of slackness of the housing authority. I told my manager that my boiler was broke. They drove their foot. They took their time. I had to wind up taking my son to the hospital. He stayed in the hospital. They brought him home with an oxygen tank before he passed. Big loss. I had a big loss. So I was reaching out today to ask you, I would love to have my house. And I appreciate it if you would just do that for me. All right? Oh, and thank you for the work that you send the team out to do. They did a very good job. They're doing a very good job. And I appreciate everything that you're doing here lately. It's been marvelous. Be even marvelous if it was mine. But I'm holding on and I'm waiting. And I believe my change will come. All right? Bless you. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you, Ms. Wright. Ms. Humphrey?
Greetings, everyone. It's me, Ms. Humphrey again. I call myself the old rebel rouser. How's everybody? To the board, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I just want to say thank you for the opportunity today, as Ms. Sanders said, to speak on behalf of the FHA private homes that are managed by the New York City Housing Authority. I want to say thank you for getting some work done. As Ms. Gavin promised, we appreciate it on behalf of, one of the ladies could not come because she is getting work done as we speak in her home. And she is thrilled that the house that we call Herman Munster got measured for siding, which will take place in the spring. So we're looking forward to that. So progress is being done. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Lisa. We appreciate you. And I do want to give a big shout out to Miss Drew. I don't know if she's here. No. Miss Drew actually came out to the homes, assessed the houses, and the work started almost immediately. So that's a big plus for the New York City Housing Authority, given the 40 years, you know, that what I've been through. You know, my house has not been assessed yet because I asked them to wait a few more months. I got a cemetery being created right in my front of my door. It would be the Long Island National Cemetery for the veterans, for ashes, and that work is being done. I mean, when I tell you I got problems now, I got rat problems, I got crack in the wall, I got a lot of foundational problems, and hopefully we can get some after they finish what they're doing. But in the meantime, I just wanted to shout out to everybody on the board, to the whole team, to the staff, to the NYCHA members, even to the people that sign us in. They're very pleasant to us when we show up. Hopefully we can have a little more people. I promise I won't bring too many during the spring so that you can hear the voices of the people, because the end game is to become the homeowner, to get the papers turned over to us, transferred over to us, work out something. I am personally here. I do have a few items I'd like to see done. I'd like for the NYCHA resident, the FHA residents to be put on the agenda at some point. And I would like to still sit down with the realtors as well as the lawyers. I believe that more transparency and communication can be done for the FHA residents. I don't know, we gotta figure out a way how to make the FHA, because most of these people are anywhere from 70 to 90, some almost 100 years. 100 years, I'm sorry. It's just a promise that was made, and it's so sad that people have to wait almost till they're 100 years old, almost living just to get these houses. The American dream turned over to them. So I don't know whose ear, who has, but I wish someone would sit down with us. We do have a team sitting ready to work with the realtors and the attorneys with the plan to for the transfer of titleship. And that's, you know, I'm sorry to be emotional, but you know, I love people, I love humans, that's love. But anyway, thank you again, and I appreciate the work that you're doing, and we want the papers to our homes. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Humphrey. Chair, that concludes our public comments portion, and we will proceed with the regular calendar. The first order of business is to adopt the minutes of the regular meeting held on December 18, 2024. Do I have a motion?
Gavin, so moved.
Thank you, Member Gavin. Seconded by?
McCoy.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? Thank you. Chair, would you like to make any remarks this morning?
Just a couple of quick remarks. First, I want to thank our two prior speakers. I know both of you have been here before, and I'm sure you'll be here again. And we appreciate it. I know it takes persistence in things like this, and showing up. So, and I know it's a hardship to come down from where you are every month or however often you do it, and we appreciate we hear you. So thank you. And I just want to welcome my friend Joan Talley again to the board. Joan, we didn't do her bio, but you can certainly find it, but Joan is a longtime housing finance professional, really among the best in the city. And we're very, very fortunate that she's agreed to join the board. She said it's a privilege for us to have her. And she's gonna add a tremendous amount of value to the work that NYCHA does, so thank you again, Joan. And I think that's really it.
Thank you, Chair. Madam CEO, would you like to make remarks?
Yes, thank you. First, I also want to welcome Joan Talley. I'm very excited that you're a part of our board. So I just wanted to give a brief recap of 2024. we made incredible progress and the incredible collaboration that we have with all of our different business units that really drove the success that we saw in 2024. NYCHA's operations staff has been instrumental in improving living conditions, evident in higher HUD inspection scores and the removal of hazardous materials. Notably, we've abated lead in over 10,000 apartments, providing peace of mind to families, and tested over 86,000 units for lead using the stricter city standards. Together with the PACT program, that's over 13,000 lead-free homes, which is no small feat. For the second consecutive year, we've invested over $1 billion in capital projects, addressing urgent needs while planning for the future. Our sustainability team launched initiatives like the Clean Heat for All and induction stove challenges, advancing energy efficient systems in our apartments. At Polo Grounds Towers, we installed NYCHA's first pneumatic waste collection system, which will reduce staff time on trash removal and improve efficiency. Our resident services team achieved remarkable results in 2024. We connected nearly 2,000 residents to jobs and facilitated over 1,200 referrals to economic partners. We secured more than $11 million in grants for education, jobs, and health programs. We supported resident associations with $2.2 million for community activities. And we distributed over 35,000 books and hosted 162 benefit enrollment events. Another milestone was opening the Section 8 wait list for the first time in 15 years. This summer, we selected 200,000 households through a lottery, thanks to the dedication of our cross-departmental teams. We also connected residents to critical rent assistance programs, securing $159 million in emergency rental assistance and implementing new programs like CRA and Home ARP, which will provide up to $185 million to address pandemic-related rent arrears. Looking ahead, we're blazing new paths for housing preservation. The PACT program closed $1.7 billion in financing for 8 developments in 2024, bringing our total investment to nearly $7 billion and moving us closer to our goal of improving conditions for 62,000 families. At Fulton and Elliott Chelsea houses, community-driven efforts are moving into their next phase. In 2024, residents at Bronx River Addition, Coney Island Houses, and Coney Island 1, Site 1B, voted on their development's future, selecting between the Public Housing Preservation Trust, PACT, or Section 9 housing. Following an initial vote this winter at Highland Houses, residents will be invited to participate in a tie-breaking runoff vote to join the Trust or the PACT program, beginning on February 26th. And this spring, voting will take place at Throgsneck Addition and Randall Avenue, Balcombe. Our comprehensive modernization program is transforming properties with top-to-bottom renovations. Residents at Toad Hill Houses recently previewed beautifully renovated apartments, which I've seen. They're actually absolutely gorgeous. And they were designed with their input, showcasing what's possible through this streamlined approach. These are only a few examples of all that we've accomplished together. 2024 was a year of action, collaboration, and tangible progress. Together, we're creating safer, more sustainable, and opportunity-rich communities for our residents. I look forward to building on this momentum in the year ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam CEO. Next up on the agenda is a report by the Chief Procurement Officer, Sergio.
Thank you.
Good morning, board members. My name is Sergio Panicki, and I serve as NYCHA's Chief Procurement Officer. I'll be presenting this report pursuant to the resolution adopted during the November 24 board meeting, which amended the Procurement Policy Manual, PPM, to first increase the dollar threshold for contracts requiring board approval to $5 million, and second, include contract capacity increases or change orders exceeding 25% of the original contract value, or $5 million, whichever one's higher. Additionally, the PPM changes now require that all contracts, change orders, and contract capacity increases valued above $1 million and up to $5 million approved by the CPO be reported to the board on a quarterly basis. Today I'm presenting the report for the fourth quarter of '24, covering the period from November 21st of '24 to December 31st of '24, following the PPM's amendment. Moving forward, quarterly reports will cover a full 3-month period. This quarter's report includes 7 items, 4 contract capacity increases, and 3 contract awards. All transactions reported were conducted in the regular course of business and are compliant with the amended PPM. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Sergio. We'll now proceed to the calendared items 1 through 15. Item 1, Michael.
Morning, board members and new board members. My name is Michael Deitch. I'm the VP of Infrastructure and Operations here at NYCHA. I'll be presenting item number 1 for your consideration, which is a request to ratify an agreement with Motorola for maintenance, repair, and modification for the authority's radio system infrastructure for Tier 1 and Tier 2 radios. The agreement with Motorola began on January 1st, 2025 and continues through December 31st, 2027. The 3-year contract totals $1,531,253.70 and is paid annually in the amount of $510,417.90. The agreement is based upon the terms and conditions of the New York City Office of Technology and Innovation's Master Service Agreement, MA 1-858-202-388-03029. These radios are essential for day-to-day field operations at the properties, including emergency services operations, staff management, and response efforts within property management operations and support services. The authority uses Motorola radio systems to communicate with its central office and development offices throughout the 5 boroughs. The handsets have already been upgraded, and this contract covers the supporting infrastructure to ensure a state of good repair and future-proof the system, ensuring the availability of radio services during emergencies. Tier 1 radios support OTI's Motorola-based radio network and is used by OTI and other city agencies and authorities, including NYCHA, to communicate during emergency situations. Tier 2 utilizes the authority's own Motorola-based radio network, which relies on antennas located on management office rooftops to provide development and borough-wide push-to-talk communications between operational staff, the development, and the authority's borough management offices. The Tier 1 and Tier 2 radios play a pivotal role in ensuring effective communications and operational efficiencies, especially the authority personnel who do not have authority-issued cell phones. The approval to enter into this agreement prior to board approval was received by the Supply Management and Procurement Department from the Chief Procurement Officer on November 5th, 2024. This agreement was awarded on November 13th, 2024. Motorola has committed under OEO to support Section 3 business concerns. Motorola will purchase office supplies up to $15,312.54 from 1 to 4 NYCHA resident-owned businesses. I'm happy to take the questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Michael. Item 2, Oliver. Before Oliver begins his presentation on item 2, he will move into the record Asset and Capital Management's quarterly update on ANCM's capital projects expenditure and temporary suspension report on elevator modernization, heating plant, and waste management contracts, change orders, and contract capacity increases, the report of which was previously provided to the board. Oliver, do you so move?
I so move.
Okay, let the record reflect that the aforementioned reports are hereby incorporated into and made a part of the record. And while we were on records, I just want to also let the record reflect that the report presented by the CPO and the Chief Procurement Officer quarterly report for the fourth quarter of 24 is hereby incorporated into and made a part of the record. Oliver?
Good morning. Oliver Ostwin, Vice President for Project Management and Asset and Capital Management. I'm presenting item 2, which seeks authorization to award a contract for underground steam and condensate distribution piping at Bronx River Houses in the amount of $8,887,000 to TR Pipe. The scope of work includes, but is not limited to, replacement of the underground steam and condensate piping distribution system at 10 of 12 buildings. The contract term duration is 2 years, and the projected Section 3 labor hours are 8,125, which represents 25% of the projected total labor hours. Questions?
Here's your questions. Thank you, Oliver. Items 3 and 4, Dylan?
Good morning, members of the board. My name is Dylan Baker Rice. I'm Deputy Chief Asset and Capital Management Officer. I'm presenting item 3 to the board. Item 3 is an authorization requested to ratify the agreement with Lero Engineering Incorporated for lead abatement program management services with a not to exceed amount of $66,056,340, which commenced on April 18th of 2022 and continues through April 17th of 2025. The scope of work for these services includes, but is not limited to, oversight, coordination, and quality control of design and construction, municipal filings related to lead, project closeout, and asset management. The urgency to register this contract with ratification for approval is due to HUD agreement and the requirements of the authority to eliminate lead-based paint in 50% of its apartments by January.
I'm sorry, Dylan, could you speak up or speak into the microphone or?
Sorry.
Thank you.
Is it not picking up here? Okay. By the authority to eliminate lead-based paint in 50% of apartments by January 31st, 2029. It was estimated in 2022 that up to 28,000 apartments needed to be abated by that deadline, requiring approximately 4,000 apartments to be abated each year. Lead abatement program management services were urgently needed to ensure that the authority managed this increased workload. Lero was deemed the most qualified firm to execute the service needed for the authority. The approval to enter into this agreement prior to board approval was received by SNPD from the Chief Procurement Officer on April 7th, 2022. This agreement was awarded on April 18th, 2022. Section 3 labor hours for this agreement are 119,774.
There appears to be no questions, you could proceed.
Okay. Board item number 4 is an authorization requested to amend Board Resolution 22-4-27-15, which authorized entering into various customer project commitments, or CPCs, with the New York Power Authority, otherwise known as NYPA. It's for energy efficient heating plant replacements and other energy efficient measures for a 10-year term. So to first, expand the scope of work to include additional projects which fall under the purview of NYPA agreement to complete CPCs. And the second part is to extend the geographic coverage in which the CPCs can be applied to include Manhattan and Staten Island. All other items and conditions set forth in Board Resolution 22-4, 27-15 shall remain unchanged. Pursuant to the Board Resolution 5-5, 18-12, the authority entered into a Memorandum of Understanding, or MOU, with NYPA for various energy service projects. As part of the MOU, NYPA would identify and implement energy efficient and clean energy technology projects, or energy service projects, including installation of instantaneous steam domestic hot water heaters and improvements to or replacements of boiler plants and lighting systems at the authority's developments. Pursuant to Board Resolution 22-4, 27-15, the board authorized the authority to enter into CPCs with NYPA for a total not to exceed amount of $250 million over a 10-year period. So Asset and Capital Management is seeking approval to, 1, expand the scope of work outlined in Board Resolution 22-4, 27-15, addressing site-specific needs and constraints Within the authority's portfolio, the expanded scope will include but not be limited to boiler replacement, steam optimization, heat and hot water distribution, system decoupling, and necessary heating upgrades. The second part is to extend the geographic coverage to include Manhattan and Staten Island, in addition to the Bronx, Brooklyn, and Queens, as originally specified in Board Resolution 22-4, 27-15. This expansion provides ANCM the flexibility to leverage the agreement to perform essential work across all developments as the needs arise. A VNC is not required for this.
Yes, and just to confirm, we still think the 250 million is sufficient for all that expanded work? We still think the 250 million is sufficient for the expanded work?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Gomez. Items 5 through 13, Jacqueline.
Good morning, board members. Thank you. My name is Jacqueline Sullivan. I'm the Senior Vice President of Healthy Homes. I'm presenting on items 5 through 13 today. Items 5, 6, 7, and 8 are requesting authorization to award 4 related citywide contracts for asbestos removal and non-asbestos material installation. Each contract has a not to exceed amount of $20 million. Item 5 is for Empire Control Abatement for a total projected labor hours of 90,000 with 22,500 Section 3 labor hours. Item 6 is for AGD Contracting Corps for a total projected labor hours of 40,000 with 10,000 Section 3 labor hours. Item 7 is for Barrows Construction Corps for a total projected labor hours of 216,000 and with 54,000 Section 3 labor hours. Item 8 is for New York Environmental Systems for a total projected labor hours of 121,600 with 30,400 Section 3 labor hours. Item 9 is requesting authorization to approve a contract capacity increase for XRF testing inspection services to Athenica Environmental Services. The increase to the not to exceed amount is $7,500,000. The total projected labor hours are 2,400 with 600 Section 3 labor hours. Items 10, 11, 12, and 13 are requesting authorization to approve contract capacity increases for 4 related citywide contracts for lead-based paint abatement in occupied and unoccupied apartments. Each contract has an increase to the not to exceed amount of $15 million, which is needed to fund the continued provision of services during the remainder of the initial 2-year term and the first 1-year renewal option term. Item 10 is for Empire Control Abatement for a total projected labor hours of 8,000 with 2,000 Section 3 labor hours. Item 11 is for AGD Contracting Corps for a total projected labor hours of 100,000 with 25,000 Section 3 labor hours. Item 12 is for New York Environmental Systems for a total projected labor hours of 162,240 with 40,560 Section 3 labor hours. And item 13 is for Abatement Unlimited for a total projected labor hours of 100,800 with 25,200 Section 3 labor hours. Please let me know if you have any questions.
There appears to be none. Thank you, Jacqueline.
Thank you.
Item 14, Nina.
Good morning. My name is Nina Farahanchi, and I'm a project manager on the transactions team in the Real Estate Development Department, and I will now be presenting item number 14. We are seeking board approval today relating to the PACT conversion at Eastchester Gardens. Pictured on the screen, Eastchester Gardens is one development consisting of 877 units across 10 buildings and is located in the Bronx. Eastchester was part of PACT Round 12, and additional details about the procurement have been circulated in the board materials. Through NYCHA's PACT program, NYCHA seeks to convert developments from Section 9 funding to project-based Section 8. a more stable source of federal funding. We do this through HUD's Rental Assistance Demonstration Program and in partnership with general contractors, developers, social service providers, and property managers. To date, NYCHA has provided over $6.6 billion in capital repairs to over 24,000 units through PACT, of which 11,000 units have completed construction, representing over $2.25 billion in investment. We first came to the board for Eastchester Gardens in October 2023, where we sought board approval to submit the initial applications to HUD. We are now returning to the board to request authorization to seek the final approvals from HUD and enter into documents necessary to close on the conversion at Eastchester in the coming months. The PACT partner team is made up of the following groups. The developer is RDC Infinite, comprised of MDG Design and Construction, Wavecrest Management, and Infinite Horizons. The general contractor is MDG Design and Construction. The property manager is Wavecrest Management, and the social service provider has yet to be identified, but shall be selected by the end of the month. Upon receipt of the initial RAD application, HUD issued its initial approval for the transaction through its commitment to enter into a housing assistance payment contract on April 29, 2024. At closing, NYCHA and the PACT partner will enter into a housing assistance payment contract that shall be administered by the authority's leased housing department. In total, recapitalizing and rehabilitating Eastchester Gardens is anticipated to cost $525 million, and the final transaction budget is subject to approvals by NYCHA, HTC, and HUD. NYCHA will approve the final scope of work and ensure that it addresses all items in both the capital needs assessment and the physical needs assessment. The scope of work will be finalized prior to closing, and it shall be presented to residents before construction commences. But generally, the scope of work includes work in apartments addressing capital needs in interior units, hallways, lobbies, mechanical systems, and building facades, among other items. Eastchester Garden residents will benefit from not only comprehensive renovations of their homes, but also from RAD's resident protections and affordability restrictions. They will have the same basic rights as they do under the public housing program, and the resident protections and benefits have been itemized in the board materials. The authority and the PACT partner have met with and will continue to engage with residents throughout the pre-development process. Since designation, NYCHA and the PACT partner have held 6 meetings with residents, and all residents have been advised of their ability to contact Legal Aid Society's hotline to answer any questions regarding the conversion. In terms of resident hiring, the PACT partner has provided a hiring plan that outlines labor hours, training opportunities, and other economic opportunities. It's anticipated that the PACT conversion will generate 450,000 projected labor hours and 112,500 projected Section 3 labor hours. In conclusion, we anticipate the conversion at Eastchester Gardens to take place in the next couple of months, and we will continue to work diligently with the residents and the PACT partner to ensure the transition is as smooth as possible. With that, thank you for your time, and please let me know if you have any questions about item number 14.
Actually, Nina, I have one question. Could you confirm the name of the joint venture developer?
Yeah, it's RDC Infinite.
Okay, that's listed as Eastchester Gardens Community LLC in the item. So for the record, that change will be made. Board members to correct the resolution. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 15. Melissa.
Good morning, board members. My name is Marissa Schaefer. I'm the Vice President of Transactions in the Real Estate Development Department. Today, we are coming to the board to seek authorization to sell NYCHA's membership interest in the Triborough portfolio. First, a bit of background on the Triborough portfolio. In 2014, NYCHA conveyed 6 properties across 3 boroughs to a joint venture comprised of L&M, BFC Partners, and K&R Preservation. NYCHA retained a role in the portfolio through a seller's note, a membership interest, and with NYCHA's HDFC as the nominee owner entity. In 2021, NYCHA sold our seller note to L&M for $56 million. Today, we are now seeking authorization to sell our membership interest to Tangram Group LLC for no less than $45 million, which is based on the fair market value of the membership interest as determined by an independent appraisal. The benefit of this transaction is that it enables NYCHA to access immediate liquidity. NYCHA will retain the right to approve certain major decisions of Triborough and hold certain oversight functions. And NYCHA's HDFC will remain a nominal owner of the Triborough portfolio. NYCHA plans to enter into a purchase and sale agreement for the sale of the membership interest and any other ancillary documents necessary to complete the transaction. The residents of the Triborough portfolio will not be affected by the transaction, as it does not involve any changes to the management of the Triborough portfolio. We anticipate closing this transaction in the first quarter of 2025. Please let me know if you have any questions.
I don't have any questions, but I know a lot of work has gone into this over the last several months, so I appreciate your work, and I know David Rody's team has worked very hard on it. It's an interesting transaction, it's great for the system. And I know, it's in partnership with the private sector, and so I've kept on top of it a little bit, and I know that the team has probably gone faster than the private partners in some ways, which is not the way people usually think about government, but in the case of NYCHA, it's great to see that that's what happened. So thank you all for this, it really is a great outcome.
Thanks.
Thank you, Marissa. Okay, Chair, 15 items were presented for board approval. Board, may I have a motion to approve the 15 items? Thank you, Member Miller, seconded by?
Gavin.
Thank you, Member Gavin. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, none are opposed. Board, being that all matters before you today have been addressed, may I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
McCoy.
Thank you, Member McCoy. Seconded by?
I'll second.
Member Miller, thank you. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
None opposed, thank you. The recorded end time is 10:43 a.m. Thank you all. The next NYCHA board meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, February 26th at 10 a.m. See you then. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.